At this time, Mr. McDonald, Chair of the Board of Trustees, will introduce the 24th President of the University of Scranton.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this university has been blessed over more than 60 years to have extraordinary Jesuits serve as its president. So today, it is my great honor and distinct privilege to present to you a man filled with the Ignatian spirit to do more for others. Another extraordinary member of the Society of Jesus. As our 24th president of the University of Scranton, I present the Reverend Scott R. Pilarz.
Now, wasn't this better than making a big fuss? Bishop Timlin, Governor Scranton, Congressman Kanjorski, Mr. McDonald, members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished delegates, members of the faculty and staff, students, alumni, and friends of the University of Scranton. In truth, we have been making a big fuss for over a week now, and it is most appropriate. We are, after all, celebrating the University of Scranton, its accomplishments and its aspirations. 115 years ago, last month, the first Bishop of Scranton, William O'Hara, laid the cornerstone of St. Thomas College, a few blocks from here on Wyoming Avenue. Talk about a fuss. The city's paper of record described the imposing ceremonies, a brilliant parade featuring music and banners and great rejoicing. According to the report, thousands thronged Wyoming Avenue from Linden to Mulberry Street. All nationalities were represented among those in attendance. And this is the best part of the article. The clergyman, robed in white, solicited funds for the building of the college. It gets better. The solicitations were successful, but the large and small amounts subscribed were only part of what will be given in the future for the completion of the college. It is comforting to know that some things never change, but my brother priest will not be passing collection baskets, at least not today. Concern for funding St. Thomas College and now the University of Scranton is by no means the only constant here. Though much is taken, much abides. Most importantly, we keep faith with the promise made by Bishop O'Hara on that day in 1888, when he read from the book of Proverbs, "My children, do not forget my teaching. Let not loyalty forsake you. Write them on the tablets of your hearts." Then, according to the Scranton Republican, the bishop passed to a consideration of the twofold duties of humankind, that of developing our spiritual nature and that of cultivating the intellectual faculties which enable us to move befittingly in society. The bishop imagined this valley, in his own words, lighted up with the fires of learning. He dreamt that the graduates of the college would go forth to enlighten the world. Bishop O'Hara's dream was modest and audacious, and 20 years in the making. He scraped and saved, begged and borrowed on behalf of the people of this diocese, whom he believed deserved access to an excellent college education. For example, parishioners sold tiny crosses made of brick for 10 cents apiece, and priests reaped the occasional windfall in what we now call institutional advancement. In one case, $13,000 was raised from a presbyteral contest between Father Jordan, assistant pastor in Wilkesboro, and Father Hussey, assistant at Carbondale. Although the exact nature of this competition is lost in the annals of history, perhaps we can keep a similar event in mind when we kick off the next capital campaign. How much might we raise by encouraging a friendly rivalry between Monsignor Quinn at St. Peter's Cathedral and Monsignor Bombera at the Church of the Blessed Virgin in D.C.? For those of you not from the area, D.C. refers to Dixon City, not the swampy federal capital due south of here. The students whom the college sought to serve were mostly from families of slender means, the sons of immigrants, mostly German, Irish, Italian, and Polish. The first class to enroll included one Brennan, two Cusick's, a Gerstenecker, a Lynett, a McGowan, and even one Joseph Reap of Pittston. Mr. Reap is listed in our alumni records under the category of business or profession as unknown. We do, however, know the business and profession of one of his possible descendants, Sister Mary Reap, our good friend and colleague, the president of Scranton's other great Catholic university. We also know what became of other members of the college's first class: 5 lawyers, 5 physicians, a member of the diplomatic corps, a restaurateur, a theater manager, and 11 priests. We stand in awe of these early alumni. Their achievements are nothing short of miraculous. One history of the college describes how boys came from the mines with coal dust embedded in their hands and under their eyes to get an education here. This university, this miracle in the mountains, began as an engine of opportunity, a gateway to the American dream. Like the city of Scranton and the region of northeastern Pennsylvania, the University of Scranton has always welcomed those who were looking to find their place in the world, to find their place as citizens, to find their place as full participants in our society. Citizens with names like Strimpek and Zendarsky and Pilarz. The University of Scranton has proudly graduated generations of daughters and sons who were the first in their families to earn a college degree. This happily remains the case. Nearly 25% of the class of 2003 carry this distinction. Therefore, regardless of pressures and challenges that will arise, we at Scranton must recommit ourselves to remaining a source of higher education that families can afford. The genius of Scranton is that here we continually beat the odds. Bishop O'Hara's 8-room schoolhouse has become a 52-acre campus. The first faculty consisted of a handful of hard-working diocesan seminarians and priests, many of whom could only stay here a semester or two. Today, over 250 faculty and administrators participate in Scranton's educational enterprise. They hold degrees from 135 universities in 30 countries on 5 continents. Our faculty pursue rigorous research agendas, many times involving their students, while keeping their commitment to classroom teaching and to the Jesuit ideal of cura personalis. Our students achieve in astounding ways. 111 Fulbright scholars in 30 years, a near 100% acceptance rate into medical school, and just last year alone, 159,000 hours of service here in Scranton, here in northeastern Pennsylvania, and as far away as Mexico and Ecuador. Our students leave here women and men for others, committed to the proposition that life is best lived generously in the service of faith and the promotion of justice. They graduate into a world charged with the grandeur of God, but for all that, a world waiting to be made more just and gentle. Because they have been educated at Scranton, they are up to the task. And they remain as loyal to their alma mater as those who left here more than a century ago. Among graduates of the 28 Jesuit colleges and universities in the United States, Scranton alumni give back to the university at a rate almost above all others, actively shaping the institution that shaped them. Only one sister institution outpaces us, the College of the Holy Cross. And Father McFarland, you and your crusaders are on notice. Our loyal royals are on a roll. The age of miracles has not passed. The age of miracles has not passed. The age of miracles is alive and well and living in Scranton. For the past 60 years, this miraculous university has been animated by a mystery, the sometimes misunderstood mystery of higher education in the Jesuit tradition. In the summer of 1942, Father Coleman Nevels of the Society of Jesus left Georgetown University, where he had spent the previous 6 years of his life, to become the first Jesuit president of the University of Scranton. Father Nevels and his Jesuit brothers brought with them a way of proceeding well over 400 years old. Motivated by the magis, a restless desire for excellence, they transformed the university's ethos and its educational paradigm. That spirit and its attendant course of studies continue to shape us today. Since it is a miracle, since it is a mystery, the precise nature of Jesuit higher education will remain elusive because of the built-in flexibility born out of the nimble imagination of Ignatius Loyola. As educators in the Jesuit tradition, we must read the signs of the times and respond accordingly, always honing our mission to meet the needs of an ever-emerging world. As Jesuit educators, we can never slavishly imitate what has been done in the past. Ignatius Loyola's spiritual and educational legacy liberates us. It liberates us from the perpendicular, from straight lines, blocks, boxes, and binds of thought. Instead, we must yield always to a direction of significance and accept the becoming thought, never humbling reality to precept, admitting always that we have perceived nothing completely, especially not the inexhaustible mysteries of God and God's love for us. Confident that the same God can be sought and found in all things, we at Scranton welcome what is to come. The American transcendentalist Ralph Waldo Emerson believed that in the world there are really only two parties, the party of memory and the party of hope. We here at the University of Scranton, we educators in the Jesuit tradition, we are and we must remain always the party of hope. Two great Jesuit educators can help us understand the substance of things hoped for when we look at our university work from the Ignatian perspective. Father Timothy Healy looked back on a lifetime spent at Jesuit universities, and he concluded that there is a Renaissance Jesuit vision that everything human, as well as the nature in which humankind sits, is filled with the laboring presence of God, and thus worth the struggle to enjoy, to understand, and to celebrate. Moreover, out of our works and days as a Catholic university comes one great virtue, the virtue of hope. The hope that God has a purpose for creation and for us in it. Discerning God's purpose and committing ourselves to its fulfillment remains our challenge at the University of Scranton. The first Jesuit I ever met Father Otto Hentz fleshes out Father Healy's conviction. He encourages us to embrace a future that to some degree will always be uncertain. Love, Otto writes, love does not wait for a blueprint, complete in every detail. But a real future means hoping. For hoping impels us to imagine possibilities, the way parents imagine possibilities for their children. They cannot predict in detail the future for which they work. Even so, they must commit themselves in hope. Love, Otto writes, love must work its way. There is no blueprint for the University of Scranton, complete in every detail. But there are a myriad of possibilities and almost limitless potential. And our love for this university must work its way. The work ahead may often be arduous, but as St. Ignatius reminds us, nothing is hard to one whose will is set on it, especially if it be a thing done out of love. We can be hopeful because we believe that our love will yield fruit that will endure. Some critics who do not understand higher education carp, and they want our curriculum to resemble an educational assembly line. Others are justifiably concerned about the cost that families must bear in educating their children, or that adults incur in pursuing education for themselves. We share that second concern, and we must articulately explain the importance of our work as a university. We on this campus, we insist that a Scranton education, a Jesuit education, is a priceless, ineluctable mystery, and ultimately the work of God's good grace. The interaction between a student and a professor is a rare and precious commodity. It partakes of the sacred, and its worth is impossible to measure. How can we measure the value of pursuing truth? How can the pursuit of truth ever be quantified? In the words of John Donne, on a huge hill, cragged and steep, truth stands, and he that will reach her about must go. And what the hill's suddenest resist, win so, yet strive so. Hard deeds, the body's pains, hard knowledge too, the mind's endeavors reach. And mysteries are like the sun, dazzling, yet plain to all eyes. So keep the truth that thou hast found. The hill upon which our university sits is not so intimidating as the one Donne describes. Nevertheless, our pursuit of truth for the greater glory of God is no less difficult an exercise. It will demand no less of us. But the heights we will reach together at Scranton will be no less dazzling. In April, the Scranton Times editorial opined that the 24th president of the University of Scranton inherited from his predecessors, especially Fathers Byron, Panuska, and McShane, a jewel. The editors were right. Together, we stand on the shoulders of remarkable women and men who have served the university with hope and love for generations. And together, we must protect and promote and polish this jewel so that it will dazzle ever more brightly and fulfill Bishop O'Hara's dream of enlightening this great valley and the world. Let's end this morning by returning to the beginning. An account of the first Mass celebrated at St. Thomas College by Scranton's first bishop on the first day of classes. As one historian describes it, their hearts must have thumped in their chests. Their faces must have flushed with pride. A lump must have come up in their throat. Today, my heart is thumping, filled with pride for Scranton. And with a lump in my throat, I ask for your prayers and support for this great Catholic and Jesuit university, this miracle in the mountains. God bless you. God bless Catholic and Jesuit higher education. And God bless the University of Scranton. Thank you.